World War I was one of the most devastating conflicts in human history. Fought between 1914 and 1918, it reshaped nations, destroyed empires, and changed the future of the entire world. It began with a single gunshot, but ended with the world in ruins. In 1914, Europe stood powerful, proud, and dangerously divided. Nations had formed alliances, built massive armies, and competed for dominance. It was a continent filled with tension, just waiting to explode. And then it happened. In the city of Sarajevo, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the heir to the Austro-Hungarian Empire, was assassinated by a Serbian nationalist. A moment that lasted seconds, but triggered a chain reaction no one could stop. Austria-Hungary blamed Serbia and declared war. Russia stepped in to defend Serbia. Germany backed Austria-Hungary. France supported Russia. And when Germany invaded Belgium, Britain joined the fight. In just 1 week, the entire world was at war. Germany had a plan, a bold, fast strategy called the Schlieffen Plan. The idea was simple: defeat France quickly in the west, then turn and crush Russia in the east. German forces pushed rapidly through Belgium and deep into France. Paris was within reach. But at the Battle of the Mole, everything changed. French and British troops stopped the German advance. The quick victory Germany hoped for vanished. And then, the war took a darker turn. Both sides dug into the ground, building miles of trenches. What followed was not movement, but stagnation. A brutal, endless stalemate. Soldiers lived in mud, surrounded by death, fear, and disease. They fought for inches of land, and paid for it with thousands of lives. This was trench warfare, and it introduced a new level of horror to the world. Machine guns tore through soldiers in seconds. Poison gas filled the air, burning lungs and blinding eyes. Tanks rolled across battlefields for the first time. And above them, airplanes turned the sky into a battlefield. The war had become industrialized and far more deadly. Major battles like Verdun and the Somme became symbols of suffering. Millions of soldiers were sent into combat, and hundreds of thousands never came back. But this was not just a European war. Across the world, nations were pulled in. Japan seized German territories in Asia. Troops from British colonies, India, Africa, Australia, were sent to fight. The Ottoman Empire joined the Central Powers, opening new fronts in the Middle East. The war was now global. In a desperate move, the Allies tried to break through the Ottoman defenses at Gallipoli. But the campaign failed, costing thousands of lives. Meanwhile, at sea, Britain used its navy to block supplies to Germany. Germany responded with submarines, U-boats, that attacked both military and civilian ships. Then came a message. One that would change everything. The Zimmermann telegram. Germany secretly had an alliance with Mexico against the United States. But the message was intercepted and exposed. Soon after, in 1917, the United States entered the war. Fresh troops, new energy, a turning point. At the same time, Russia was collapsing from within. War losses, hunger, and unrest led to the Russian Revolution. The new government pulled Russia out of the war, allowing Germany to focus entirely on the Western Front. But it wasn't enough. By 1918, the Central Powers were falling apart. The Ottoman Empire suffered defeats in the Middle East. Austria-Hungary began to break under internal pressure. And Germany, exhausted, outnumbered, and running out of resources, could no longer continue. Then, on November 11, 1918, the guns finally fell silent. The war was over. But the damage was beyond imagination. More than 16 million people had died. Empires had collapsed. Entire nations were left shattered. And as the world tried to recover, another disaster spread silently. The Spanish flu pandemic, killing millions more. In 1919, the Treaty of Versailles officially ended the war. Germany was blamed, punished, and forced to pay heavy reparations. To many, it felt less like peace
and more like revenge. A new organization, the League of Nations, was created to prevent future wars. But it was weak, and the anger, the pain, and the unresolved tensions remained. World War I was supposed to be the war to end all wars. But instead, it planted the seeds for something even worse: a second world war.